meeting and discussion with the Prabhupada Disciples Association, Hare Krishna Society.
Yes.
And we're so happy to be here with all of us to continue our practice of sadhana bhakti together as a group. This is very important. Guru Shastra Sadhu, association with other like-minded devotees. And our group is very unique because we are focused on promoting the unadulterated, unchanged books of Srila Prabhupada. And I'm very happy to announce that we are now moving to the next phase of our campaign to distribute 2,000 sets of Srimad Bhagavatam, the original Delhi Bhagavatams. And these books were the original books. Our books, of course, aren't, but these are the original books. You can see them. Let me see if I can get a better picture of it. Anyway, these are the original books that this is a duplicate of. I bought this through Madhuha years ago at the Rath Yatra. And it's a 3-volume set that was originally printed by Srila Prabhupada in 1962, 64, and 65. And he worked diligently over those years to raise the money to publish these books and then start distributing them in India. Interestingly enough, he had some success there, but in 1965, he decided to leave India, yes, the land, under the order of his spiritual master, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada, under his order. That's why he came to America. And he arrived on September 19th, 1965 in New York City, which is incidentally, Ram Raghava, my birthday. Interesting. Of course, I was born in 1947 during partition in India. And so it's a very significant date for all of us that Prabhupada came to America with no money. He had nothing per se in terms of Lakshmi. And we know how important it is when you travel to have money. Do you ever go out on a trip, Ram Raghava, with no money? No. I have to say this, by the way, and Mother Rochisha knows this. Back in the 70s, when we used to go on traveling Sankirtan, we had no money. They would say, okay, here are the keys, here's a tank of gas, and goodbye. See you later. Good luck. We hope it works out. And then we went on our way. We drove. We went up to Sudbury one trip. We had a very successful trip and contacted all kinds of new devotees. And this was quite the adventure. Prabhupada was, and it reminds me what an adventurer Srila Prabhupada truly was, especially Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu at his age. Sure, when you're 20, 21, 22, 23, you're ready to go to war. Yeah, give me a gun, I'll go out and fight. But when you're 70, you really think twice of what you're going to do. But Srila Prabhupada was so determined to fulfill the orders of his spiritual master to preach in the Western-speaking countries that he did not care. Of course, he was not an ordinary human being. He was empowered by the Supreme Lord, Lord Chaitanya, to come to the Western world in order to deliver the conditioned souls who are covered over by the strong forces of Maya. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya tuduskritam. Yes, to deliver the pious. That was his goal, and he did become successful, very successful in delivering the pious. And he brought on his boat, on the boat, the Jaladuta, that beautiful freighter that he was given free passage by Sumati Maharajji, who I met personally and had a personal interview with her at her estate in Bombay. I also, by the way, Ram Raghava, I wanted to tell you, I was in Mayapur and staying at the center there during the Mayapur festivals, and there was an announcement that they needed someone to help Pishama, Prabhupada's sister, to cook for Srila Prabhupada prasadam. And I volunteered and went in the kitchen with her and helped her cut up her sabjis and other ingredients so that she could cook. So that is an interesting, I forget a lot of things that we've done, but those two things stand up in my mind as significant, very significant experiences by an innocent, very naive person, Vishwakarma Das back then. But it was a great opportunity for us to make advancement. Anyway, I diverted, I apologize. I do that sometimes. I had an interesting experience, Yaśodā-nandana. Yesterday, I went out, I wore a t-shirt, Hare Krishna, and I went to the local festival here in Canada called Canada Day Festival. They have them in all the cities. So I went out, I thought, well, I'll just go out and check it out and see about the people. It was boring, very boring. I left almost right away. It was just the same old nothing, zero. People looking at each other, not knowing what they're doing. But anyway, I was still out there to check it out. And I went by a table that was empty, okay? And I was sitting there and I thought to myself, gee, we should go out in these events and put up a book table, especially now that we've got the Srimad Bhagavatam, and create a booth that would attract people over, play the mantras, Hare Krishna mantras, and possibly, if you've got a team, you could distribute prasadam and sell Bhagavatams. Just sit there and have people come up and I could get into discussions with them. Because I like to talk to people. Oh yes, I do. And especially about Krishna. And I like for them to challenge me. Like I went to Markham 2 weeks ago. It's already 2 weeks. And there were about 50, 75, with the kids, about 75 devotees there, all East Indians. And I spoke for a couple of hours, 2.5 hours, went up. And they were asking me all kinds of questions, this and that. And it was really engaging and very enlivening to be that. I sold a few Gitas, and I sent the money over to the Hare Krishna Society from it. I think I got $90,000, so I made sure that it was set aside for our book fund and our Bhagavatam distribution. So my point is this. It's now time for us to put on our Sankirtan garb, whatever it is, whatever you think, or your Sankirtan mentality, and think, let's distribute these Bhagavatams. What is the greatest service that we can render to the spiritual master? Is to distribute his books. Prabhupada said that. I have a really interesting section I want to go to. Maybe we'll save it. It's amazing. I'm reading the Krishna book, as you know, Mother Rochisha, Devi Dasi. And every time I read into the Krishna book as I progress along into it, I'm reading Akrura's arrival in Vrindavan. I don't know if you can bring it up, Ram Raghava. It's on page 247 of the reprints. And it really summarizes so beautifully the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. I'm going to read it. It is clearly stated here that one should not try to be recognized by the Supreme Personality of Godhead by one's service and by one's try to be recognized. One should try to be recognized by the Supreme Personality of Godhead by one's service and devotion, without which the human life is condemned. Think about that. What a statement, eh? Condemned. You're wasting your life. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, the Supreme Lord, Personality of Godhead, is equal, thank you very much, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita, is equal to everyone. He has no friends and no enemies. That was Prabhupada. But he is inclined to a devotee who renders him service with devotional love. The Bhagavad Gita also declares that the Supreme Lord is responsive to the devotional service rendered by the devotee. And what better service than distributing Prabhupada's original Delhi Bhagavatams, Dasa Avatar? Just think, you have a few more years to live. If you can distribute 20 sets, would that be a credit to your spiritual bank account? Not your mundane, useless bank account. Sorry, I didn't mean that. Just kidding. Everything has value. The Bhagavad Gita declares that the Supreme Lord is responsive to the devotional service by the devotee. Ācārya thought that Krishna was like the desire tree in the heavenly planets, which gives fruit according to the desire of the worshiper. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is also the source of everything. Everything. A devotee must know how to render service. Here, a devotee must know how to render service unto him and thus be recognized by him. You have to know. Now, here Prabhupada explains what you should know, Ram Raghava. He says, in the Caitanya-caritāmṛta, it is therefore explained that one should serve both the spiritual master and Krishna simultaneously, and in that way make progress in Krishna consciousness. Service rendered to Krishna under the direction of the spiritual master is bona fide service because the spiritual master is the manifested representative of Krishna. Is there any confusion here? Anyone? Any questions? Put your hand up. No, of course not. Simple for the simple, difficult for the crooked. A lot of people can't understand this simple statement, especially some of our God brothers who are posed as so-called Diksha gurus. Very, very unfortunate for them. And they're not able to understand the philosophy because they're disobeying. They don't know, and they're disobeying. As we read in our classes, the 10 offenses of the holy name, when you commit that offense of not following the orders of the spiritual master, then it is a big offense against the chanting of the holy name, and you make very little, if any, advancement. Service rendered to Krishna under the direction of the spiritual master is bona fide service because the spiritual master is the manifested representative of Krishna. And yet they use that for themselves. Oh, I'm a representative of Krishna. I'm the bona fide guru. Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti says that when one satisfies the spiritual master, he satisfies the Supreme Lord. It is exactly like service in the government office. One has to work under the supervision of the departmental head. If the supervisor of the department is satisfied with the service of a particular person, a promotion and increase in pay will automatically come. Do you love that? How Prabhupada's explaining that, Ram Raghava? Isn't that gorgeous? How he's so smart. He's giving a very practical example so that we can understand how to get a promotion in Krishna consciousness, how to become a top servant of the Supreme Lord and of the spiritual master. Ācārya thought, when Krishna and Balaram are pleased with my prayers, certainly they will take my hand, receive me within their homes, and offer me all kinds of respectable hospitalities, and they will surely ask me of the activities of Kamsa and his friends. In this way, Ācārya, who is the son of Swalpalka, meditated on Sri Krishna on his journey from Mathura. He reached Vrindavan by the end of the day. Ācārya passed the whole journey without knowing how long it took. Yeah, eternity is there. The time factor is there. But the devotee is transcendental to all these factors because they are on the spiritual platform of bhakti yoga. This is the yoga of linking with God through devotional service. When he reached Vrindavan, the sun was setting. As soon as he entered the boundaries of Vrindavan, he saw the footprints of the calves, the cows, the footprints impressed with the signs of his soul, the flag, trident, thunderbolt, and lotus flower. Upon seeing the footprints of Krishna, Ācārya immediately jumped down from the chariot out of respect. He became overwhelmed with all the symptoms of ecstasy. He wept and his body trembled. Out of extreme jubilation, upon seeing the dust touched by the lotus feet of Krishna, Ācārya fell flat on his face and began to roll in the ground. So we'll end this section. Isn't that wonderful, Rochisha Devi Dasa? Amazing. These, Ram Raghava, as you know, I used to be in the diamond business. I had the most spectacular diamonds from Angola. I was in Kinshasa. I'm not even going to talk about it because it's a bad story. But these bits of information that we're finding, this is like finding diamonds. This is far greater than any so-called diamond that you get from Africa. This is nothing. And the diamonds will never save you. But this knowledge, these diamonds of information will save everybody that attends these programs and hears attentively the philosophy given from the lips of the pure devotee, Srila Prabhupada. And this is the point. I'm going to finish off. It's interesting to note that people say, oh, Prabhupada, he didn't give the highest knowledge. It's these Gaudiya and Mat people that did. I had Vinay Shandip read to me the letter that Prabhupada sent to me back in 1976, or 75. I'd sent him a letter. And you know, I really regret that, Yaśodā-nandana. I can't remember what I wrote him. And people at the temple stole all my letters from all the letters I received from Prabhupada, all the letters they stole them. Unbelievable. But nonetheless, this is a jewel. He said, do not, because it was about when Ban Maharaj came to Toronto to speak at the University of Toronto with Joseph O'Connell, and we accompanied him and we invited him to the temple to speak. And when he did, I remember we drove him over in the car, we associated with him, and Prabhupada sent me a letter, and Vinay wrote it to me, read it to me today, and it said, do not associate with my godbrothers, especially Ban Maharaj. Do not read their books. Do not have them speak at our temples. Have nothing to do with them. Yes. So that was a message to me directly from Srila Prabhupada. So back again, please get a hold of me if you're interested. We're going to have the advertising of these Bhagavatams coming up for sale, the prices, and the wholesale opportunity. We're going to have a special wholesale price offering to the devotees. so that they can buy them inexpensively, relatively speaking, and then distribute it to their most favorable friends and family members and people that they're working with to become Krishna conscious. And then we can all celebrate this opportunity, very rare opportunity, to get a hold of these books because they're not in print anymore, except for what we have. And one last announcement, we do have a Vyas Puja offering that we are creating for online presentation. And you can write your offering. Please go ahead. I've got to do mine this week. And I'm not sure what date it is. Is it August 7th? Is August 17th the final date for them? Yes, our God brother's listening carefully. He's nodding. Thank you, Prabhu. He's nodding. Yes, August 17th. So we have a little bit of time to sit down and write your passage, and then we'll put it up online on our website. Our offering for 2025, the Vyas Puja offering to Srila Prabhupada. So those are the announcements. We'll move forward now with Ram Raghava. We're going to have a short speech, a short talk from Srila Prabhupada.
Yes, Prabhu, short Srila Prabhupada lecture for 3 minutes.
I love that. Oh, well, as long as you want. I love this. I love hearing Prabhupada speak in our classes. Hari Bol. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalam. Complete knowledge. If you read Bhagavad Gita, you get complete knowledge. What Bhagavan says, Idantute guhyatamam pravakshami anasuyam. Bhagavan Krishna is teaching Arjuna. So in the 9th chapter he says, my dear Arjuna, I am now speaking to you the most confidential knowledge. Guhyatamam. Tamam means superlative. Positive, comparative and superlative. In Sanskrit, Tara Tama. Tara is comparative and Tama means super. So here Bhagavan says, the perfect personality of God says, Idantu te guhyatamam pravakshami. Now I am speaking to you the most confidential knowledge. Jnanam vijnanam sahitam. The knowledge is with full knowledge, not that imagination. Jnanam vijnana sahitam. Vijnana means science, practical demonstration. So, jnanam vijnana sahitam. Jasgyatya, if you learn this knowledge, jasgyatya mokshase asubha. Asubha. Mokshase means you get liberation, and asubha means inauspicity. Inauspicity. So, our present life, at the present moment, present life means so long we possess this material body, it is full of inauspicity. Mokshase asubha. Asubha means inauspicity. Side.